What's up, everybody? It's Chad. I'm back again with another episode 41 of Ask Chad Grassy Logic. We're heading to the end of season one. This is the second to last episode of this season. Then we'll come back in January for another episode. We're going to skip next week because that's Thanksgiving. Then we'll come back last episode for the season. Might have a special one for you guys, so stay tuned. But without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, Matt Kennicott. Did I say that right?
You did. You got it, Chad. Thanks.
Heck yeah, 100%. Good at that one. And he's from the Plug, and you're located in Albuquerque, correct?
I'm in Albuquerque today, but I actually live in Socorro.
Oh, Socorro. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like almost halfway, right?
Yep, exactly.
Nice. Well, thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about some taxes stuff, some medical card, numbers. They're kind of dwindling here in the state. And we're just going to have some good conversations. So let's get into it. So,
Yeah,
Matt, the Plug. So, who is the Plug? What do you guys do?
yeah. So I want to give you a little bit of background about the Plug, and then I can give some of my background, and
100%.
it all kind of come together and make sense. So
yeah, please do.
The Plug is a new organization that I and a couple of partners have put together to help represent small cannabis businesses in New Mexico. And by small, we mean 50 or fewer employees.
Okay.
The big guys all have representation. They've got their lobbyists or internal staff that can do what they need to do. But as we know, the small cannabis businesses are kind of out there on their own. Yeah. So we formed this group to set it up as kind of a co-op that does policy work, if you will. So we advocate for positive policy change with policymakers up at the legislature or with city councils or county commissions. Actually, just earlier this week, we were up at CCD testifying against some of the rule proposals that they have in place. So we're doing a lot of advocacy. And then on the co-op side of things, we're doing things like getting operators together to do bulk purchasing, just to make the cost of our inputs and everything else cheaper. And that could be anything from packaging to trim scissors to whatever you need. So we can do that. And then we've got a few things that we're cooking, like an annual conference. We want to make that big with a bunch of continuing education. And then kicking off here first quarter of next year, we're going to do something called Toke Talks, where we bring in experts from throughout the industry to do things like coaching sessions or attorneys have to get CLEs to keep their licenses active. So once a quarter, we're going to be doing Toke Talks to help bring continuing education to the industry in New Mexico. And then one of the other big things we're doing is offering an association health plan. So anybody who enrolls as a member of the Plug, they can get their own health insurance. And they can get a health insurance for their employees as well, as long as 50% of their employees participate in the health plan. And the bigger the pool we grow, the lower the premiums will be. So that's kind of what the Plug is and what we offer and what we do. Just a little bit about my background too, to make a little bit of sense out of this. I've been in cannabis policy since 2007, since the introduction of the Lynn and Aaron Compassionate Use Act. I was actually working in the legislature at the time and was lucky enough to be able to work on that legislation for the caucus. And then from there, I worked for the previous governor for some time as her policy director and helped work on some of the expansion of the program under DOH, the medical program under DOH. I worked on this governor's task force when that was in place as a policy analyst. And then after the bill passed,
was it the SM-105 or was it the REC one?
The REC one.
Okay, cool. Because I was in SM-105. I was like, oh shit, were you there?
Yeah, and I did a little work on SM-105. I wasn't actually there. I was like way behind the scenes with with stuff. So yeah, and then
I worked on
after
the consumption lounge part.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I was doing a lot of like general policy stuff.
Got it. Dope, man.
On that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then very small world, cannabis especially. And then after the bill passed, I formed with my former business partner, Weeds Cannabis Consulting.
Okay.
And recently sold that so I could go farm full time and work on the Plug full time.
Nice. So you just mentioned a farm. So do you have your own whole huge farm? Is it part of the Plug, or what do you got going on? if you care,
So,
share.
oh, absolutely. So separately, my girlfriend and I have a company called High Maintenance.
Okay,
And
that's cool.
part of it is we've got a micro production license, so
Hmm.
plants, and then we've also got a manufacturing license. We're setting up a shared cannabis kitchen, so people can come in and make their cannabis confections, and we set that up as kind of an incubator model.
Hmm.
We want businesses to come in, and we'll teach them some basics and help with marketing and that kind of stuff. And hopefully in a couple of years, they'll outgrow the facility that we're in and be able to go out on their own and do their own business. So we set it up
Nice.
as a way to really help coach startup businesses.
Yeah. No,
So
that's great because there's so many
yeah,
people in this industry who came in with little to no knowledge on business. They may
yep,
have years and years of experience of growing, but their experience of business is little to none.
yeah,
So it's great that
exactly.
you guys are kind of offering some support in that sense. Within it, you
Yeah.
can kind of put them under your wing, like, okay, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of folks, obviously the only place for a lot of people to start in the past was in the black market. So
Yeah.
we really want to help bring some of those people who have just absolutely fire black market products to the legal.
Sorry about that. Producer hit a button.
No, it's all
It's
good.
okay. It's 10 push-ups, Gina.
Nice. That's
Continue. I'm
funny.
sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah, so we just we want to be able to help bring people out of the traditional market and into the new rec market,
Yes.
and help provide a lot of those skills. And a lot of times folks don't have enough startup cash to get their own facility either, so
Hmm.
we figured a shared facility would be a good way to go. So yeah, we grow our own, and we're getting this manufacturing kitchen set up in Socorro.
Nice, man. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations. Yeah. And
thanks.
I always think Albuquerque, but Socorro is one of those places that haven't really touched base in. How many shops are in Socorro?
There's see, one, two, three, four. I think there's five right now.
Five.
With a sixth probably coming online here pretty soon. So
Okay. And
yeah.
if some of you are in the El Paso area, if you're confused, I'm not talking about Socorro, Texas. Talking about Socorro, New Mexico. Yeah, I know. There's two of them, and they're pretty close to each other. So yeah, those who are
Yeah,
confused, it is in New Mexico, not in Texas.
exactly.
Probably like, man, that guy's brave.
It's a little more brave than I want to be, I think.
Right. It's like, oh, I'm not messing with that one. No, no,
Yeah, no,
no.
no, we'll keep it in legal state for now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't want Walker Texas Rangers showing up.
Chuck Norris's beard will beat me up. So
Plants die when he shows up.
that's right.
They wilt. Yeah, so it's great that you guys are kind of central northern area. So you guys have like this whole, because I've been trying to focus on the south. Because
Mhm.
we're so forgotten about. But
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
this little gem called Sunland Park.
Mhm.
And that's kind of one of those things that's putting the south on the map. Because
It
even
really is.
today, when I was watching the Investing New Mexico workshop, they mentioned Sunland Park a few times.
Mhm.
And it's because it's Little Dubai. And
Yeah.
I remember, when I said it the first time, people were like, "Yeah, you're right," because like I just saw the potential and I saw everything going up,
Mhm.
and there's nothing there. Like
Yeah.
there's not even like I don't even think there's like a CVS or like a Walmart there. Like
No.
there's nothing.
Nope.
We couldn't even find a burrito spot. Like that's how much there's nothing there. But maybe I was just looking at the wrong place. I don't know. But it's great that you guys aren't focusing on the MSOs too. Like they've
Yeah.
been supported for so long when we were on the medical side too. We had some
Mhm.
issues with that. And
Yep.
there was really no representation for anything else. Even
Yeah.
the ones that did come up smaller, like we had Mother Earth Herbs, who were a little bit smaller
Mhm.
versus the other ones here. There was no support for people like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
But now that there's way more, it's a little easier, I guess. But I'm glad you guys are picking up that slack and kind of just you know going in full charge. So I'm glad that I've been able to connect with you guys and everything too. Pretty
Oh,
recently.
absolutely, man. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Yes, the MSOs and the OGs have they've had all the support that they've needed for a long time, and they obviously have the funding behind them to do the things that they need to do. So the main idea behind all this was to offer that help and support to small businesses and give our businesses voice,
Yeah.
especially with lawmakers and regulators. Like, having been on the legislative side of things and the campaign side of things, I see how well advocacy actually works.
Mhm.
So I figured we needed the advocacy for the small guys in the industry. Like,
Yeah.
this is cannabis in New Mexico is probably one of the greatest economic opportunities for people living in the state that we've had in a long time, if ever. With new employment, with new businesses, just with the amount of new money that's circulating around the state, it's huge. So I feel like we need to do what we can to help protect that and help bring up the mom and pops, which really business in New Mexico is based on small business. So let's look out for and help protect those businesses.
100%. And, we're now seeing too, other places that have gone legal, way before we have. They're starting to take mold of, what's really going to be there at the end of the day. And kind of what I've seen, particularly like in Canada, what I
Mhm.
see is the craft cannabis is seeming to being taking over, versus,
Mhm.
the big fast produced,
Yeah.
mass amount cannabis, which I can see that being the case here in New Mexico already. We're
Yeah.
already like, no, no, we want craft, 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 craft. And I think that's because we learned our lesson from the medical days,
Yeah.
like, what we
I would
have.
hope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Because some people, they haven't been here long enough to understand how bad it was when it was medical. You've
Yeah.
been around since 2007. I got into the program in 2013.
Mhm.
And, even then, like, it was bad. Like, I lived in Alamogordo at the time. That's where I'm from originally.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, yeah, Alamo kid. And we didn't have a dispensary there. There was
Yeah.
0 dispensaries in Alamogordo. I had to go to Ruidoso or
Mhm.
come here to Cruces. And
Yep.
so, I was really limited.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of people who don't really understand that struggle. And we already have experience with, some of this. So when some people come
Yep.
into the state, we're kind of like, yeah, but that didn't work.
Yeah. So don't try it again. And
Yeah, let's not go back to that route.
I, I think you're seeing a lot of the same things that I'm seeing, and I've been telling people for quite a while now. I think what we're going to see in this market, especially, is kind of the way the craft beer market has gone, where
Yeah.
you have your mass producers, and you've got your like Walmarts of whatever you want, and there's always going to be a customer base for that in New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
But there's those of us that absolutely love really good weed, and we want to smoke the best stuff. So we're going to start seeing a lot more craft come up. So the way I see the market shaping up is you're going to have like your Walmarts or the guys that just want to push volume and not aren't too worried about the quality, versus the craft side of things. And that's really where I think we're headed and how things are shaping up.
100%. And, I've actually been on the record, for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, stating that, was going to be the
Mhm.
case in the end, because just the way New Mexico's markets have gone so far, especially,
Yep.
with the beer wine market, very
Yeah.
local, very craft, very
Mhm.
good tasting. I
Mhm.
enjoy local craft brewers myself, when I do have a drink every now and then.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I could see cannabis the same way, because there's some really great growers in the state that came from
Oh yeah.
either the black market, or they came from PPL side, back in there.
Mhm.
If you guys don't know, PPL is personal production license. We used to have to get a stupid license to grow at
Yeah.
home. Or they came from that side, and they're just killing it out there. And there's even guys
Yep.
I've had on the show that've been growing for 2 years, and they're just killing it.
Yeah, just killing it. Yeah, they just
Zach
figured
from
out the
Alto,
recipe.
killing it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, when
Yeah.
he told me how long he was growing, I was like, dude, hats off to you. You got to be killing me. I was like, that's
Absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's great to see people, able to get into the market like that. And I hope we can
Absolutely.
continue that. You know what I mean?
I think so. And I like, you know, this, like I said, this is such a huge economic opportunity for New Mexicans.
Mhm.
I think we have a chance here to keep a strong, healthy market for everyone. And I'm still pretty bullish on the market. I think there's still a lot of opportunity for growth and room for new businesses to come in as well, as long as you're smart and learning your market and learning what your customers want.
Mhm.
There's no reason that we can't all be successful. It's pretty decent sized pie here. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of room for a lot of success in this state.
I agree, and we're going through growing pains right now. We're
Hmm.
oversaturated, but every market has gone through this at some point in
Yep.
their history. So we're just following the same path. It's just on a
Yeah.
faster timeline.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. It's
Instead
it.
of like, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say part of it is because our licensing process has been so easy up to this point, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We needed that to start, but now that we're a couple years into this experiment and we're seeing how things work, uh, I think CCD is seeing this too. They're getting ready to start actually cracking down on people and going to those operators that are blatantly doing stupid things or illegal things.
Yeah.
The learning curve is kind of over.
I agree with you.
So
The days of them, just giving you a little pat on the hand, is over. You
yep,
had your chances. If you aren't doing it right by now, you deserve to get shut down.
yeah,
Hundred
absolutely.
percent.
No,
Yeah.
can't argue with that at all.
Yeah.
Um, and chatting with I chatted with the director quickly after their rules hearing on Monday, and I was very pleased to hear that they are taking such a strong stance on compliance now, because I think that's one of the things that will absolutely help strengthen our market here is
Yes.
strong compliance enforcement from CCD.
Yeah.
As long as they're not just coming down on you for stupid little things.
Yeah.
But that's one way to root out some of these bad actors, and I think one way to help kind of correct the oversaturation in the market, because you'll start seeing people that won't be able to actually comply with the laws and the rules, and they're gonna have to shut their doors. And I
Yeah.
think that's coming sooner rather than later too.
I do too, and that's gonna, like you said, help with the oversaturation. And
Hmm.
I've called that for a while. The people that just aren't making it because they don't have good product, can't produce good product. They have bad customer service,
Yeah,
uneducated employees.
yeah,
All these places they're going to eventually fail over the
hmm,
places that are providing these services. Because we're
exactly.
not forced to go to any of these places. It is our choice as the consumer, as an
Yep,
open market, where we want to go, and that dictates who's here at the end of the day.
yeah,
Not
100%.
just because someone decided to open up a shop, we owe them being here at the end of the day. Like if they have
Yeah,
good services, good product, hell yeah.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
if not, then I'm gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and we have plenty of choices in the state now too.
Hmm.
One of the things that I've seen driving around the state with Veronica, and we've put 70,000 miles on my truck this year, doing wholesale, and
Hmm.
now running around the state recruiting people for the plug and doing all these other things. One thing we've noticed that's really lacking with a lot of these places is good customer service.
Yeah.
I think those are going to be some of the first that are going to end up shutting down in the state. It's so important.
Hmm.
So
It is
I don't know.
100%.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think here in the next 2 to 3 months we're going to start seeing a lot of this start to shake out.
I do too. And it's great that the CCD is cracking down. I'm happy myself because that's a public health issue. Because some of these
Hmm.
places are selling moldy cannabis. Some of these places are
Oh yeah.
producing moldy cannabis. And just thinking like it's a no big deal. No, nothing's wrong with
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So I'm glad that this is happening. There are a lot of bad actors in the industry, and that's happened
Yeah.
in every state when they've gone legal.
Everywhere.
Like even
Yep.
even the illegal dispensary we had here in Cruces for a little bit, that's happened in other states. Like
Hmm.
there's
Oh, look at New
it was going
York
to
right
happen.
now. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's a mess over there.
It's
What a
crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they created something crazy over there. Like, and what's funny is our drug policy alliance and theirs work together on both of those pills, so they're
Hmm.
kind of similar. But I'm like,
Hmm.
whoa, that could have gotten even worse.
It could have got a lot worse. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, guys, we're in a pretty good little Goldilocks area right now, to be honest. So,
Yeah,
but
truly.
I want to pull back and talk about more about the plug. I mean, with great
Yeah.
conversations though, because I mean they're needed, and with both of our experiences, I kind of feel like we could touch base and bring up a lot of good points for certain people, and it's up to y'all, the audience, if you agree or disagree. It's up to you. I'm not trying to sway your way, but this is just from our experiences. So,
Yeah.
do you care to share membership rates for the plug? Because you've mentioned
Oh yeah.
a couple times that you have members and etc.
Yeah, honestly we're trying to keep it super affordable. So for those businesses who want to be a part of it but maybe can't necessarily afford the larger membership, we've got a membership tier at $500 for the year or $50 a month. Our main membership is $1,000 a year or $100 a month. And that gives folks access to literally everything that we do. We're building out a big, I guess you could call it like an operators library, that'll have a ton of written resources for folks. So yeah, we're trying to keep it affordable. Just $1,000 a year, $100 a month, or $500 a year, $50 a month. Super simple fee structure too.
Yeah, and it's a part of business expenses, just like advertising. Marketing, advertising, all that stuff. It costs money. You're running a business now. Certain things just aren't going to be free. Like that's just how it is.
I mean, we got to be able to pay to go do the advocacy work, to get the health plan in place and administer the health plan and offer all of the benefits that we're offering. And sometimes it's hard as a business owner to see the value in paying for something like this. But I guess where I approach it from is having been in the political world for so long, you can't afford to not do it, because you have to have that representation, especially with where our industry is right now in New Mexico.
Yeah, because even on my side, like not just the podcast, but we also offer advertising on the radio for certain, for retails if they want. But getting people to actually want to do that is one thing versus it actually happening. So it's slowly happening. Don't get me wrong. There are certain people coming on board like, oh, it's a good idea. And once federal laws change and some state laws change, it'll be a lot easier to advertise. Especially like on Hulu, because Hulu is actually pushing out like, hey, advertise with us locally. Et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, that's great, and it's really cheap and affordable.
Oh, so hell yeah, that's great.
If we get that changed, then that'll be night and day for us. But that's really affordable, to be honest, especially if you're a business owner. I know everyone's trying to save where they can, this and that, but if you want representation, you can't do it, etc. Because going to Santa Fe, it's 4 hours for me.
It's two for me, and like, I don't mind the grind. I don't mind driving 2 hours up and 2 hours back, or like if we have to go to a city council meeting in like Hobbs or something like that, I don't mind. It's I don't know. It's like you, in order to run an organization like this, you need to have strong members supporting you and people who really understand the mission and what they're getting for it. And we want as many people and as many businesses to join as possible, so we can grow our pool and grow our representation. And also with the health plan that we offer, the more people you get involved, the cheaper the premiums. So if we have like 100 member businesses, that's great, but 200 is even better, because then we're expanding that, not just the pool of people that we represent in Santa Fe or elsewhere. We're expanding that health insurance pool too, to keep it cheaper.
And that's great, because as a lot of in the cannabis world, you don't really get benefits when you work for, retails or even just a cannabis establishment in general. They normally don't offer you that. A lot of it has to do with the taxes, this and that, federal laws, et cetera, just places not offering it for cannabis businesses too. That's like the biggest one. But that's great that you guys are actually offering that, because that's huge for certain people, because they come into this. Because I was a bartender for a little bit, when I first got into the cannabis program, and we didn't get medical then either. So, it's kind of like something similar, but at least you guys are offering that service, and, you're offering more than just like, hey, hit us up to get the laws changed. Like, no, we're going to help you guys get health insurance. You're like, that's huge.
So we're going to help you get health insurance. We're going to help you save money on big purchases. Like, we've been around the state so much, we've been able to kind of identify a lot of the common issues that operators are facing, whether it's retail, manufacturing, or production. So we're really hoping to fill some of those gaps with what we're doing.
100%. And so what plans do you have for the future for the plug? I mean, you already have all this cool stuff going on. What ways are you trying to expand?
I think in the future we're going to look at a wholesale market for our membership. So, business to business transactions, actually being someone who is on the wholesale grind, it's a lot of work. So if we can take a little bit of that travel and guessing game out of it for folks, we're definitely going to do that. Nice. We have a continually expanding resource library for businesses. So that includes things like checklists for what to expect when you're getting inspected, or if you're a new operator, what are all of the documents that you need to submit as a new operator? How do you get a bank?
Anyway, it's great that you guys, really helping, the small businesses and everything, and you guys are offering all this stuff, the medical stuff, even the market. And you're telling me that, today, when I was talking to you, that you were helping one of the members with something. What was it today that you were helping? I'm not even sure, but it sounded cool.
Yeah, I was actually just going through to do a quick BioTrack help for him. He's a manufacturer. He
Hmm.
needed a little assistance with BioTrack and moving his product from start to finish. So I went
Yeah.
in there and helped sit down and help him work through that. So we're also offering one-on-one individual help to our folks too. Yesterday, I went with one of my co-founders, Julieta from Amnesia Dispensary, and
Hmm.
we went to another dispensary on the other side of town. And she took 2 hours of her time to actually help coach these owners. They were originally looking at selling their place, but after she came in to help coach them, they completely changed their mind. They've got a whole new plan in place from the where they were before, and they're ready to move forward. So
Nice.
we're doing some things like that as well that I think will really really benefit a lot of operators.
Business consulting too. That's great, because a lot of these people
Yeah,
don't know what they're doing, and I say
yeah,
this a lot, and it's take it what it is for some people, but a lot of these people haven't ran anything more than a track, if that. So
yeah,
like running a business is totally alien, and so
yep.
it's great that some of these people are like, okay, and they're willing to listen to, because
They're
I've
more
done
than willing.
some grow consulting, and people just don't listen.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know. Well, coming from the consulting world,
yeah,
I, you know,
I totally get that. Yes, preaching the
when I was at
choir on that one.
oh yeah, when I was at Weeds, I think at one point we had done over a quarter of all of the licenses in the state,
Hmm.
and the experiences were all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you get a lot of folks that don't don't necessarily listen to the advice that they're paying for you to give them.
No, yeah,
So
100%. It's like, you're paying for this. I hope you know
yeah, yeah. It,
that.
one of the great things about the plug too is you basically have a consultant there for $1,000 a year.
Yeah, that's
You
cheap.
really can't beat that.
No, you can't. That's cheap. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, you're getting a deal out there, guys. So if
absolutely.
you're new to this, you're not sure, or maybe you're failing and you have the extra funds. I mean, this might be a route that you guys can go, to help you out and save you a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
we can bring experts in to help with everything from retail to grow to manufacturing to I've got accountants that we can recommend,
mhm.
bookkeepers, like just anybody and everybody that you would need in the industry. We can connect you with.
Nice. And also, speaking of, I mean, you're giving us a hand with this industry sesh that we're doing,
Yeah, man.
trying to get all this information and data from all these local spots, especially the mom and pops, and I appreciate that, because
Yeah.
it's going to take a collective effort to really get it all done.
Yep.
Are you guys going to be here for the Harvest Fest or the Harvest
uh
Cup?
remind me when the Harvest Cup is, Ina?
It's Saturday. This Saturday.
Oh, it is Saturday.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're gonna try and make it down for that. Absolutely. We'll definitely be down there Monday for the town hall.
Heck yeah, man! I can't wait for that, because
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope most of the businesses in Sunland and the surrounding area, Anthony, Santa Teresa, even Chaparral, I hope they show up. And if you're watching, you're a part of that. Those businesses, please come. Matt's helping me out with some outreach. Trying to get more people in the know. Like I said, he has a bunch of businesses that he's in contact with, and the more that you guys tell us what's going on, the more that the legislators can know too, because these are live streamed as well. So like I save these on live stream so people can go back and watch them. But we also put all the collective data together, and at the end we're probably going to try to do something with it to help the efforts of changing the bill in the right way, because we only have 30 days in this next session, and that's not very long.
Yep.
They're normally
Not
working
very
on the
long.
budget. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. And that's something that we will absolutely collaborate with you guys on from here on out. Is we're doing something similar where we're meeting in committees and trying to develop a session agenda.
Yeah,
So this kind of work that we can collaborate on and get together on is fantastic. The more the merrier.
yeah, 100%. The more data we get and the more places we talk to, the more accurate it's going to be too. You know,
Yep.
instead of just taking a 6-person panel and saying, this is what they say. That's what everybody thinks. It's like, what? No.
Yeah. And it's not just the MSOs that are doing it either.
Yeah, 100%.
You
You
know?
know, the mom and pops, small, big, you know, all of them. So, you
Yeah.
know, it's great. Last
Yeah,
time we had
exactly.
Top Crop, you know, watching, you know, they were participating in the chat and everything. So that was great to see. You know,
Absolutely.
they're good because they do focus and they do support local, which I can
Yeah.
respect. You know,
Yep.
like if you're coming in and you support local and you support New Mexico, I'm all
Yeah.
for it. You know,
Well,
so
Top Crop, yeah, I've done a lot of work with them. Matt and Nick and all the guys here on the ground, they're doing a great job of what they do, and they're not they make it very clear that they're here to help support the community. We love working with businesses like that. Obviously, they're a little too big to be a member of the plug, but you know, we can still work with them and talk with them and collaborate with them. And
yeah.
the ones that are doing a great job for the community, we're all for that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're all for improving the community too, yeah, let's do it. 100%.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
do you guys have any events or anything planned as the plug? You know, in the future?
Yeah. December, we're gonna actually host another bigger membership meeting. What we'll end up doing is bringing all of our committees together to kind of chat and get our agenda pulled together for the session. And then I'm hoping to, right before the session in January, have just a big kind of plug open house. So
Okay.
members, non-members alike can kind of all join together and have a sesh and good conversation and just kind of get a legislative preview going on. So I think those are the two bigger things that we have coming up. And then, as I said, hopefully in the first quarter here, we're working on our first Toke Talk. We'll be able to bring in some experts on that, and after the legislative session, get operators together for our first Toke Talk session.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like to see how that goes and everything. And I'm glad that getting more people together. And you know, it's good to see that more businesses are less afraid to work with each other. Because that's one thing that was really bothering me. Is like people were just so afraid to work with each other. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
Man, we actually had a gathering up here that we put together last Thursday, and I was pleasantly surprised at the turnout. There were probably 45 or 50 folks that came out for it. All of them cannabis business operators. It was really cool to see everybody coming together and not afraid to get together and work together. And we're starting to set up smaller kind of informational sessions around the state. We've done one in Tucumcari with 5 dispensaries. We're going to go up to Kirtland and Farmington soon. I'm sure we'll get down to Cruces and Sunland Park to do one. But we like to, as far as events go, we like to put together smaller groups where we can sit down and answer questions about membership, answer questions about what's going on in the state, and just kind of have that personal interaction with business owners.
Dope, 100%. Because I mean, that's something that is needed.
Yep.
Before we move on, where can people find you, like website wise? And actually, I think we have your website here. Gino, can you pop that up? There we go.
Beautiful. So
here's one right here. So where can people find you on Instagram? I guess is what I should ask.
On Instagram, we are at thenmplug. It's at thenmplug on Instagram, and then our website is www.theplugnm.com. And as you can see, we say the small guys can have a big voice too. You know,
I like that.
We're there for the small operators.
Nice. Is there anything you want to highlight on the website or anything like that?
You know, our news section is finally getting filled out and continually growing. That's something that we'll actually start posting here real soon. Kind of up to date general cannabis news happening here in New Mexico.
Nice.
So definitely check that out. Definitely sign up for our newsletter because our newsletter is going to start going out here soon. Just remind folks, we just launched the first part of this month, so we're still building some of this out, but it's growing fast.
Yeah, 100%. You know, because I can't be the only person trying to inform everybody in the state.
No way, man.
The medical days are over, man. I can't do that.
It's gonna take all of us now.
Yeah. It's a team effort. It can't be the only one. Well, I mean, I really appreciate you joining me today and sharing and having this great conversation like this, but we have more to
Yeah.
talk about. But
Yeah.
thank you for joining me, from the plug and everything. And I
Yep.
can't wait to see what else you guys do. So let's
Absolutely.
continue the conversation, and we'll go on to the next topic. But man, we
Yeah.
talked about some really good shit.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. No question about it.
Yeah. So thank you, Matt, and
Yeah,
thank
man.
you, the plug. But
You bet.
so next topic, we're going to be talking about patient numbers, and I think I've touched base on this in the past on my show, and I like to update people every now and then. But this article popped up last week. I didn't get to talk about it, and I kind of figured this week could be a good time to talk about it. I have an advocate on the show with me, so why not? So the patient numbers in New Mexico keep dropping. They went from 135 of last year in May of 2022. Now they're at 85,000. Now I remember when we got to 80,000 when we were just building the medical program.
It's
So
a
now we're
big
kind
milestone.
of, oh, it was huge. I mean, I was patient 8,000 something or something like that. So
Oh, that's cool.
seeing that number get to there, you're like, whoa,
Yeah. For real. That's awesome.
So yeah, it is. But it's sad to see that more people are leaving the cannabis program. And that's been a trend in every state that's gone legal. Their medical program has suffered. It's shrunk, or some places have just gotten rid of it altogether, which I hope we don't do here in New Mexico, because there are obviously 85,000 people that still use the program right now, which, it could go up, it could go down. I hope it goes up, because you don't pay taxes in New Mexico if you have a medical cannabis card, and you have more legal protections.
Yep, absolutely.
More protections with a medical cannabis card than you do just as a regular Joe Schmo. You're allowed to possess more in public. You have more protections. Even as a parent, you have more protections with a medical cannabis card versus just not.
Yep.
So those are some things to keep in mind, and the benefits of having a medical cannabis card, other than just, needing it. You also do get different pricing sometimes, and you do get more potent, like edibles and extracts and stuff like that if you're medical. The only downside is that you get, the 8 ounces per 90 rolling days. They do roll over into each other. But I kind of feel that's kind of archaic, and we don't really need it anymore. But that's been something that we've been fighting for a long time. And for some reason, the state just does not want to give that up, because it's kind of confusing to me, because if all medical cannabis in the state is tax-free, then why are we being taxed if we go over 8 ounces? I think the way that they're getting away with it is just not allowing you to buy any more medical cannabis. So to me, that's kind of bullshit.
It's total bullshit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's bullshit, because you're telling this patient that, oh, you can use your medicine, but only to the certain amount. We're gonna cut you off.
Yep. That's
and
right.
I feel that's a decision between you and your doctor, not you and the state. Just like everything else.
Well, it's like any other prescription. You're not going to have the state step in. Well, they might.
I think it's that bad
with how things are going. They might,
Yeah.
but you're not necessarily going to have the state step in with a regular prescription from a doctor saying, "Hey, you can't take this, or you're only limited to this amount." And it really shouldn't be that way with cannabis either. And yes, we're seeing the same trend that other states have seen with their medical programs, and it's. I think people should really take advantage of the medical program here. It saves you 21% on every single purchase. Zero tax. A lot of the state taxation is theft.
Oh my God. Yes.
Tell the state to fuck off with your taxes just by getting your medical card.
Yeah. And these days you don't even pay for it. They accept insurance.
Yeah.
So what better way to stick it to the man and say fuck your taxes is to get a medical cannabis card for free. Seriously. And then getting tax-free cannabis. Holy crap. Man. Stop paying taxes.
To me, the benefits are way too big to have your medical card versus not. My girlfriend has one, and we're in the industry, and we go out and wholesale, we grow our own, but she's got it because we don't like to pay taxes on our.
I don't either. Yeah.
So it just makes sense. And I think as a medical customer too, you get a little bit of a different treatment at dispensaries. Yeah. And you can get different and sometimes better product for yourself as a medical patient. Stuff that's actually targeted at your conditions.
Yeah, 100%. And I really do appreciate those places, that really cater to that. Because I remember at the very beginning, the first month or two when we first went legal, they were catering to patients first. But I remember
Mhm.
the very first day, people were complaining and bitching, why aren't patients being seen first? This is
Yeah.
horse shit. And like,
Yep.
I was like, I kind of agree, guys. Sorry. And then right away, boom, places were like, all right, cool. Created 2 separate lines. Patients are
Yeah.
first. If you're a medical cannabis patient, you're being seen here, or you're being seen first in the line, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So, you do get different treatment. Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
The benefits don't just, stop at having the card and not paying taxes. I mean, even going to certain events, you'll either get a discount or you're getting for free for
Yep.
having a medical cannabis card in the first place.
Yep.
Certain smoke shops will give you a discount, or grocery stores they'll give you a discount for having a medical cannabis card. So I mean, it's almost like having a membership card in certain aspects.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't even pay for it.
Yep.
Because your insurance
That's
can pay
right.
for it.
Well,
So
what I've found too is there are excellent medical educators that you may not have access to if you're just a rec customer.
yeah,
Some of these medical educators are amazing individuals, and the work that they do is incredible. And I'd love for as many people to have access to them as possible too.
oh, dude, me too. Because I go through a doctor here in Cruces. She's great, and she's actually my primary care.
Hmm.
They designated her that, which was funny. I was like, oh, you did my card. Now you're my primary care. That's hilarious. But
Nice.
she's really great. She's very thorough. She does other things too. But yeah, she knows, she's very versed in cannabis.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that there's people like that, and leave
Mhm.
leave the taxes to the Texans, y'all, and the people that
Yeah.
don't live in New Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Get your cards. It only makes sense. And it's all electronic now, so it couldn't even be any easier.
Yeah, I have it on my phone. It took 24 hours for me to get my card,
Yep.
versus 30 to 60 days like it was back when we were medical, like just medical. That was ridiculous.
No, it's super ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that a lot of things have changed for the better since the medical days, and I think they're only gonna improve and just keep getting better.
Yeah. And we're going to have to keep fighting for the medical program to
Yep.
improve it, to keep it here. I don't see it going away anytime soon in New Mexico.
No.
We've had we were actually the very first medical cannabis state. Sorry, California.
Back in the
So I kind of,
70s. Yep.
yeah, back in the 70s. See, you know it too. That's
Yep.
great when I get someone that knows that little fact too. So
Yeah.
sorry, California, but we need to keep that here in New Mexico.
So
We need to
who
keep
was
that
the
same
governor
spirit.
that signed it into law?
It was Apodaca.
There you go. Nice. Excellent. All right. Got a fellow.
Actually,
history there.
interviewed
Great.
his son years ago when he was running for governor, and I've
Yeah.
learned all that history from him.
I worked on Jeff's campaign for a little bit.
Oh, you
I
did?
advised him for a while. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
friend. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good guy. He's a good
yeah,
guy.
he
He's
really
funny.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, I love that guy to death.
Absolutely.
Shout out to you, Jeff, if you ever watch.
What's up, Jeff?
So yeah, and just to those out there, get your card.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to fight, but we are gonna have to get rid of the adequate supply thing at some point. It's gonna have
Oh,
to
yeah.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's long gone. We need to get rid of it. Just like when we had limits on extracts for THC percentages, like 60, then it went to 70%. It's like, come on, guys, this is ridiculous.
Well, you can get up to 99% now, and in very rare cases, I haven't seen it done, but you can get over 100%. So
Yeah,
the laws have to catch up with the technology, as usually is the case.
yeah. 100%.
I forgot what else I was going to say. There was something else, but it's all right.
It's good.
Sometimes I just like to talk.
Oh no, it's good. I mean, the advocate side of you, I get you.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's all I really had for the patient numbers and everything. I mean, it's not something that's different for New Mexico versus other states. Other states saw it's even more of a significant drop than we were seeing now. So we're actually holding on pretty strong versus what other states went through. It pretty much went to nothing. So, and we have reciprocity too. So if you have a medical cannabis card from anywhere or any other state, you can use it here in New Mexico and not pay taxes. So if you're from another state, it's probably good to keep your medical cannabis card, because there's other states like that now. We're not the only state that does that. I think there's like 5 or 6 other states that do it.
Yep, that's right.
And so if I ever visit that state, I'm gonna make sure I have my card. Even in Colorado, they will give you a discount if you have a medical cannabis card. Like, you'll just get a straight discount. Like, that's dope.
Oh, it's super dope.
Yeah,
Can't
it
beat
is,
that.
100%.
Well, and I know what I was going to say. That the adequate supply thing, that's kind of out the window now. When you can have a farm with 18 or 20,000 plants, there's going to be plenty of supply in the market, and we're honestly seeing that in the wholesale prices too. So I don't think that's something we're ever going to have to really worry about again here.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing medical prices above rec prices pretty much anywhere. I think I saw one
Nope.
dispensary in the state where it goes like this every now and then with it. Don't know why, but
Yeah.
everywhere else it's always under significantly. So I mean, it's not like it's taking
Yeah.
that much of a ding out of the
Even
state.
at the higher dosages with edibles and concentrates, you're still seeing medical prices below rec. Plus, you throw in the medical card discount. That's even better.
Yeah. Then I get the veteran discount too, so I'm like, ooh, give me them
Oh, geez.
discounts.
Hell yeah.
Right?
That's a beautiful thing.
So yeah, and if you're a veteran, always ask for that discount, guys. You know,
Mhm.
it goes a long
Absolutely.
way.
Absolutely.
So that's all I really had about the patient thing. If you guys are patients out there, renew your cards. It's a lot quicker
Mhm.
now. Everything's digital. If you live in New Mexico, you're a resident, you have a New Mexico driver's license, just get your card. Your insurance can most likely pay for it. Sometimes your own primary care doctor might be the hookup, the plug.
That's right.
So next topic we're going to be talking about, and the last topic we're going to be talking about, cannabis and taxes. And I left this for the last because it's not sexy. People hate it. But if you don't do this right, you're going to fuck yourself and your whole business, and
Oh,
Taxman's going to be knocking on your door. Last person you want knocking on your door is Taxman.
Very last person.
Ooh, gave me creeps just saying that. I was like, I don't want you around. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, and this doesn't really come from any article, anything like this. This is just something that I was thinking about, noticing how other things are taxed adult use wise, tobacco and alcohol. So with tobacco and alcohol, on the federal level, it's taxed. On the state level, it's taxed. On the city and county level, it's taxed. And then who knows what hidden taxes there are. So with all of those, they have these taxes. With cannabis here in New Mexico, we just have that 12% tax, and then you have the regular tax that goes after that, which adds up to about 20-21%, depending where you are in the state, give or take.
Yep.
So in New Mexico, that's great right now because we have something across the board. We don't have something that's like, this edible is going to be 5%, this doobie is going to be 2%, this hash rosin, this is going to be 12%, et cetera, et cetera, all over the place. Because that's what they do with tobacco and alcohol. And I wanted to bring this up because we're going to get to a point where that may happen to cannabis. I hope not, because that causes confusion. That creates just mass whatever, because we're already dealing with people who are uneducated in this industry to start with. We're not dealing with something that's been in industry for a long time. So if we add something like this, we're going to cause more confusion. We're going to cause more tax fraud. And
God,
we're just going to
massive.
create, God, it's going to be so bad if we do that. Because like right now, what is it? There's like 80 businesses that are out of compliance right now when it comes to taxes. They haven't paid their taxes or something in the state.
They say 80. My guess is it's probably a lot higher than that.
I'm thinking that too.
Plus, you've got operators right now that are working this year to pay off their tax bills from last year. Still, it's just, God, where do you even start on taxes?
God, I know. And so I want everyone to have this on your mind and to have this conversation. Do we want to stay where we are? Now, I'm already in the arena of we need to lower our cannabis taxes, especially once we go federal, because that brings on a whole nother tax. We need to lower it. It needs to mimic more closer to what we tax alcohol and tobacco. However, we don't need to go down the confusing route of starting to tax things individually. Like even pipes have a certain tax, federal, state, city, county. That even a glass pipe, they have their own little taxes. I have numbers here. It gets a little confusing. I'm going to try to not lose people. So on a 12-pack of beer here in New Mexico, you're going to pay 41 cents in Las Cruces, 13 cents for the county, 50 cents for federal, and $2.20, I believe, federal is $2.20. So the federal is a lot higher than the state and everything else. And so you're going to be paying $6.24 on a 12-pack of beer, which equates to about a gallon. So you're paying $6 on that 12-pack, which is quite high. However, it's not outrageous. As high as cannabis. Yeah, it's outrageous, but cannabis still isn't that high. It's like when you look at cannabis, you'd be paying a lot more in those taxes. And if you look at a state like Washington, I go and visit there quite often. It's like 35%. It's like ridiculous up there. So if you look at that compared to this, and even their alcohol taxes are significantly higher than ours too. It's a little bit more ridiculous when you go there with that. So I just kind of feel our taxes need to come down, but we don't need to have it as confusing. Like I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. So what other markets have seen, other more mature markets have seen, and what some studies have shown is that once you reach that 21% mark in cannabis, people will go back to the traditional market. They'll go back to the black market because there's no tax,
Yeah.
and in some cases, the product is better that you're getting.
Yeah.
So with taxes so high, what the state is going to end up doing eventually is driving people back towards what they call illicit cannabis.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to have solid tax policies that actually encourage growth and encourage participation in the legal market instead of driving people out of it. And that's just on the consumer side. With New Mexico, with our gross receipts taxes, say what you will about the system because it actually really sucks. But when it comes to goods being purchased, that helps with the complications of individual taxes. Hopefully, we don't see individual products getting taxed at different rates because that's a nightmare. I mean, a lot of places
Just
right now don't
researching
even.
it.
Yeah. Oh, just researching it alone. I know. Got to
Good
find good
Lord.
accurate data, and businesses have to now pay the gross receipts tax plus the excise tax, and it's a big bookkeeping headache. I can only imagine how it would be for retailers, especially that carry like 300 or 400 SKUs plus. That would just be an absolute nightmare. So
Yeah.
that's something that I think you could see us definitely continuing to fight. That's I'm not a fan of taxation anyway. I'm one of those that believes taxation is theft. So let's try and keep the tax policy fair and not towards something that's going to drive consumers and or operators towards the illicit market again.
Yeah, 100%. Because we already see that on the legal side with tobacco and alcohol. If some of you watching don't know, we actually have an illicit market for untaxed tobacco and alcohol here in the States. And here in New Mexico, the number is actually quite high. It's about 33%, 36%. And when I was looking at the data, this came from a national data who they look at all the states and everything. The trend that I saw wasn't really the percentage of taxes, it's how close they were to Canada and Mexico.
Interesting.
Was the big difference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it wasn't always the case, but Washington's numbers were high. California's numbers were high. Florida's weren't as high. New York's were very high. They're in 40 something percent. We over here were about 30 something percent. I didn't look at Texas's, but I think Texas was about 20 something percent too. So it seemed the closer you were to the border, or closer to that access, the more likely you were to have untaxed goods in that sense. So even now at the rate that we have them, it's not as big as the illicit market for cannabis even today in our legal market, but it's still alarming at a 30 something percent. That means that 30% of the goods in the state that people are buying aren't taxed. And so that's kind of alarming as is, and that's at the tax rate that they are now. So we might even have to go lower than what tobacco and alcohol are to really fully shrink the traditional market, because you're never going to kill it. It's never going to die.
No,
this is a testament right here that it's never going to die, because we have legal tobacco and alcohol, and they have illicit markets all as is, but they're just very small. So
well,
we could shrink.
We have legal guns too, but there's a black market for guns.
Yeah, there's a black market for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, and we can only shrink them. We can't ever exterminate them fully. We can try, we can spend billions and billions of dollars and waste it on it, but we're only going to be able to shrink it with good regulation, low taxes. I wish there was no taxes on it, like it's theft. But there's really nothing we can do, because at 25% for even tobacco for a pack of cigarettes, that's $2 extra. That you're paying there.
Crazy.
And
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And you're going at different levels. And right now, we're not paying a federal tax for sales for cannabis. It's just the 280E on the retail side that they're really paying for, and that on its own is a whole different animal. I mean, you're telling me how much were people paying? Percentages for that?
I was talking with an operator yesterday that's a retailer, and she pays close to 33% in taxes. Talk about theft. I mean, 280E is a whole different ball of wax, and basically what it boils down to is operators, we don't get treated as a normal business, and we need to be able to be treated as a normal business so we can take bigger deductions and take advantage of the tax code as it's supposed to be.
100%. Because in New Mexico, some of you don't know, you're only taxed in certain things that you do in the program. So say if I'm a manufacturer and someone brings me material and I process the material for them and I charge them. That money that I charge them, that gets a tax. It's not the same tax that you get on the retail side, but you are paying a tax for that. However, if I have my own material, I process my own material, then I sell it to a retail, there is no tax for that on my side. However, you do have to report it to the tax bureau. That came from the Investi NM seminar or web thing today. They confirmed that you do need to report it. You won't have to pay the taxes on it. You just have to report it just for tracking purposes, which makes sense.
Yeah.
We're
You just enter big fat zeros.
Yeah, big zeros. At least it's there. Weight zeros. Easy shit. So, and then even on the grow side, that you're telling me too earlier, I was like, that's a great example too. I'll give you guys another example. Same thing on the grow side. If you grow your own cannabis and then you sell it to a retail spot, there's no taxes on that. However, if you kind of do it another way, you do it for someone else and you pay the taxes, if you're splitting it, whatever, you're probably paying taxes. So, and there's going to be other little taxes in between that, but you're not paying what the retail's paying. The retail is probably paying the most out of everybody. And I think there's certain ways that people try to manipulate it to help them pay less or whatever. But, there's little tricks and stuff like that are legal. There's legal loopholes, those do exist. And you can use those. And sometimes they're recommended to use them. But it's just 30-something%. That is ridiculous.
Oh, it's outrageous. And as a producer, we'll probably end up in the 20 to 25% range, which that's still way too big. And you got to fight to find deductions, so you end up spending a lot of money on infrastructure improvements throughout the year and things that you can end up writing off. It's just the tax situation for cannabis businesses. Talk about unfair. It's there's really no other industry out there that's treated like us as far as the taxation goes. This is not taxation advice, by the way, but if you're 100%. A retailer, make sure you have your manufacturing license, because that'll pay off in a lot of ways for you.
Yeah. And today, even at the workshop that I attended online, they were saying the same thing. The CCD said, if you are a retailer and you're trying to do deli style, you do need your manufacturing license, because you're going to be processing and packaging in it to a little package and selling it to the customer. So they confirm that if you are a retailer and you want to do that, you're going to have to get your manufacturing. If you don't, then you can do prepackaged and you're fine. Which, I'm a fan of prepackaged. That's just my personal preference. I know there's people out there who swear by deli, but I'm just not a big fan of the jar opening all day and the terpenes just being released.
Everybody's hair and nose sweat.
And skin particles. And I went to one place in Chaparral, and it was summer, and they had a porch light that was probably maybe 7 feet, and so there was bugs everywhere. So there's bugs all inside the store, and it was deli style. I was afraid it was going to get in the jar. And she's like, "Do you want to see this?" And I was like, "Not really." I definitely recommend all retailers talk to their accountants about their manufacturing license, because there can be some tax advantages there with your employees and how you run a manufacturing and retail setup. There are deductions to be had there, but consult your tax professional, not some policy guy. And I do want to mention, if you're bringing tobacco or alcohol, back on this real quick, because I forgot to mention, if you're bringing it from Mexico or Canada, you do have to pay a tax. However, there is an exemption, a certain limit. There's a certain amount. I think it's like 200 cigarettes or something like that, and like a liter of alcohol, you're exempt for paying the taxes. Anything more than that, you have to pay the tax. The rate is, I just know when I was younger, we went to Mexico and they asked us if we had alcohol. They said yes, and we had to pay a tax. So and I looked it up, and it's legit, and they do have the exemption for the certain amount, and I'm sure it changes all the time. And if you don't pay that, straight to jail. But I just wanted to mention that if you are going to another country, you can bring those items back. And hopefully once it goes federally legal, that'll be the same case for cannabis. Hopefully it won't be itemized. It'll be easier. Because that's something that we need to fight, is if they start trying to itemize them and stuff like that, we got to tell them, look, this isn't tobacco or alcohol. There's too many different products. There's too many different things. We're going to cause more confusion.
Well, and you don't go into a grocery store and tax different food items at different rates, or even go into like a Walgreens and tax different items at different rates. just doesn't make sense, especially with the tax system that we have set up in New Mexico. So, but that's definitely something I think will always be on our agenda, is fighting individual taxation of products at different rates.
Yeah, because I mean, already we get taxed when we make money, we get taxed when we buy it, we get taxed when we own something. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
tax upon tax upon tax. At the end of the day, it's like
Ugh,
70% in taxes. It's ridiculous. So just stop taxing us to death is really what I want to
please.
go at. And where we're at with cannabis is great. We are going to have to lower that number because it's due to increase to, I believe, 13% in
Mm-hmm.
2025, and then it's going
Yep.
to go all the way to, is it 25% or 20%
I think
after that?
25 is the top end of it.
Yeah.
Either way, that's something that I think all of us as industry professionals need to do, is go to our
Yeah.
legislators and educate them on why higher tax rates for cannabis are. It's just an absolutely terrible idea.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, with the big lawsuits of big tobacco back in the 90s, we've seen massive taxes slapped on cigarette companies,
Yeah.
and those were also meant to encourage the reduction of the use of the product too. Which, say what you will, it may have worked here and there, but man, when you slap these big taxes on these types of consumer goods, especially in New Mexico, you're hurting low income individuals more than anybody.
Yeah.
And that is something that we have to be very aware of in New Mexico, is what our low income population is paying on these things.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that can least afford these big taxes.
Yeah.
So, that's always something that I think we have to be aware of and fighting for, and making sure it's fair.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's weird to look at cannabis and like we're paying significantly more in taxes than something that is significantly more harmful.
Yep.
Like what's helped more than raising the taxes on lowering, the tobacco use is education. And people being informed on the risks, the harms, and what can actually happen to you if you use tobacco, alcohol, etc. That has
Mm-hmm.
actually done us more good than harm. The raising the taxes a little bit, but not much. Like,
Not much.
Yeah, not much. People that I know that love cigarettes, they're going to pay that tax all day. They don't care.
Yeah, well,
It's just
sin taxes just don't work in general. Look at New York City with that soda tax they tried to propose.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Actually, even looking closer to home, Santa Fe about 5 or 6 years ago tried to impose a soda tax, and that went down in flames.
Yeah,
They don't work, and people don't like them.
yeah.
And you end up driving up the price for the consumer, and companies will end up losing business because of it too.
100%. And that's one thing I was telling the legislature when we first got into this, when they had the individual plant tax on the grows for the bigger grows. I said that's
Yeah.
going to increase the cost of cannabis. It's going to create an illicit market issue, and it probably has, to be honest. We're not seeing a lot of those implications now. If we change it, we're probably going to see some stuff improve,
I'm sure.
especially the price. We'll
Yep.
see the price drop because it's gonna cost you less to produce that one plant. That
Yep.
$10, $20, $5, whatever it costs, whatever they make it, that's going to save you money in the end. So,
Yeah,
but I
absolutely.
digress. So we'll have to keep fighting. And, this year,
Yep.
next legislative session, we are going to have to fight it because the next year after that is when the taxes are going to go increase. So this is something that we're going to have to fight now versus later.
Yep,
In a
absolutely.
30-day session.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, it'll be interesting seeing what pops up during this 30-day session. I feel like it might end up being a lot of defense, but who knows? Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I'm a big believer of it's not impossible, just improbable.
Yeah, right.
yeah, 100%. So,
Yep, I'm with
but
you.
yeah, but that's all I have for the taxes things. Thank you so much for that conversation, man. You brought so
Absolutely.
much, to that, and you're able to
Yeah.
just, kind of echo similar things, and it was great. You brought
Yeah, absolutely.
experiences too, just direct experiences. Especially the 30% for that retail that they're paying, and I'm sure it's similar for a lot
Outrageous.
of people.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
crazy, and other states are saying this similar. But before you end the show, I just want to add some bonus information. Don't forget, this weekend, November 18th, is going to be the Growers Cup down at Sunland Park. I have that information on my socials. I don't know if you've been sharing that or not, but I have. The
I will
industry town
today.
hall sesh is going to be on Monday, the 20th in Sunland Park. I will be there. It will be at Obi-Wan Cannabis, 2167 McNutt Road. That's going to be at 5 o'clock to 6:30. Matt's going to be there. Hopefully, I'll see all of you there, and all the local folks. Even if you want to take a trip, please come down. We're going to have another one in Albuquerque next month, and I think towards the end of this week, we'll announce that and get the flyers out, and I'll get it to you so that we can get to your folks up north.
Beautiful, and we'll continue collaborating with you on all these things so we can get more of our industry folks involved and informed.
Heck yeah, man, 100%. And I'm down with
Yeah.
that. And, I'll let the ladies know and, say hello to everybody for me. But that's all I have
Absolutely.
for the show. Matt, you want to get us out of here? Do the outro?
Yeah. Well, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, thanks for having me on. Thanks for allowing us to plug the plug. You can again check us out at www.theplugnm.com or on socials. We're at the nmplug, and we really look forward to working with everyone and seeing everyone and developing a happy, healthy, vibrant small business cannabis industry in the state.
Yeah, me too, 100%. I can't wait to see what kind of great craft cannabis comes from our market.
Absolutely. Definitely looking
Heck yeah.
forward to that.
All right, man. Well, everybody, I'm out. We'll see you not next week, but the week after for the last episode for this season. So, stay tuned. We'll be back in January with season 2. All right.
Awesome.